When your relationship with your parents changes, the frequency of your life quietly begins to shift. A method for realigning the root of your soul, as taught by Tesla. If, right now, your heart stirs uneasily every time you think about your parents, or if you feel a heaviness you cannot quite name, please stay with this video until the very end. This does not mean your heart is cold. It does not mean you are an ungrateful child. It does not mean you are immature. Because the very moment you begin to feel a sense of dissonance in your relationship with your parents is the most sacred sign that your soul is trying to evolve toward its next dimension. Many people believe this. They believe the relationship with parents cannot be changed. They believe it was decided from the moment of birth. They believe the only choice is to accept it and move on. But this is nothing more than an illusion of the earthly world. From the perspective of the universe, the relationship with your parents is the most fundamental source of vibration. It is what determines the frequency of your entire life. Nikola Tesla once said this: "If you want to know the secrets of the universe, you must understand energy, frequency, and vibration." And Tesla knew something else. He knew that the first vibration a human being receives on Earth is the energy passed down from their parents. Think about the events in your life that keep repeating for no clear reason. Think about the relationships that keep failing in the same pattern. Think about the anxiety and the guilt you cannot seem to let go of. When you trace these things back to their root, in almost every case, you arrive at an invisible wave flowing between you and your parents. This is not because you are flawed. It is simply that the frequency you inherited has not yet been tuned. And now, the fact that you feel a sense of dissonance in your relationship with your parents is proof that this old frequency is finally beginning to thaw within you. Your soul is speaking to you. It is saying, you no longer have to live while carrying that old vibration. In this video, we will gently explore why your relationship with your parents shapes your life, and we will explore how to quietly realign the wave that flows between you and your parents. You will not be forced to reconcile. You will not be forced to forgive. We will look at all of this from the perspective of the soul, the universe, and frequency. Whatever feeling you hold toward your parents right now, it is completely all right. Anger, sadness, distance, emptiness. Whatever it is a natural part of your soul, evolving in this moment. Now, let us look together at the quiet river flowing at the very root of your life. Chapter 1. Why your relationship with your parents determines the frequency of your life. The moment you were born onto this earth, the first vibration you received was not air. It was not light. It was not sound. It was the frequency of energy passed down from your parents. During the 10 months a human being spends inside the mother's womb, every single one of your cells records the mother's emotions, thoughts, breathing, and heartbeat exactly as they are. And immediately after birth, the first warmth of skin you touch, the first voice you hear, the first gaze you see, all of this is carved deeply into you as the baseline tone of the instrument that is you. This is not mere spiritual philosophy. Modern developmental psychology confirms it. So does the study of gene expression known as epigenetics. What we inherit from our parents is not only blood type and facial features. We also inherit emotional patterns, stress responses, and the very way we see the world. From the perspective of the universe, this is even simpler. Your parents are the first source that broadcasts your frequency. Your soul receives its first tuning for life on Earth from the vibration of your parents. Think of it like the roots of two trees. A small sapling that grows from the roots of one large tree receives all of its water, all of its nutrients, and all of its vibration from those roots. On the surface, they may look like separate beings, but deep underground, the roots are connected. This is why, if the wave flowing between you and your parents is disturbed, no matter how hard you try to put your own life in order, a discordant sound will travel up from the level of the roots. It is not that you are flawed. It is simply that the root is vibrating. And here is the most important point. The fact that you feel a sense of dissonance with your parents right now means your soul has entered its most precious stage. It is the stage of looking again at the vibration of that old root and beginning to grow your own new roots. Please do not rush. This is a process that takes time. But surely and quietly, something within you has begun to change. Chapter 2. The message your soul sends when you begin to feel dissonance with your parents. One day, in a sudden quiet moment, you may feel that conversations with your parents are no longer as enjoyable as before. When the phone rings, answering it somehow feels like a small burden. Even when you return to your childhood home, you notice that you cannot truly relax from the bottom of your heart. If you are carrying this kind of dissonance right now, it does not mean you have become cold. It is a sign that your soul is finally beginning to notice something it has long pretended not to see. Within the laws of the universe, there are stages in the evolution of frequency. The human soul reaches certain moments in life when its rate of vibration rises sharply. For some, this happens at the end of their 20s. For others, in the middle of their 30s. The timing differs from person to person, but there is one thing in common. You suddenly feel that your wave no longer matches the people and places you once resonated with so naturally. And the place where this change appears most clearly is in the relationship with your parents. This is because your parents are the ones you have resonated with for the longest time and the most deeply. That is exactly why, when your frequency changes, the first place it appears as dissonance is in the wave between you and your parents. Think of it like looking at an old photograph. You look at a picture of yourself from 10 years ago and you feel, yes, this is certainly me. And yet, it is a little different from who I am now. That strange and gentle feeling. The dissonance with your parents is the same. They certainly remain your parents. But the person sitting there no longer resonates at the same frequency as before. This is a message from your soul. It is telling you that you no longer have to carry the old frequency. You have entered the time when you will realign the vibration of the root you inherited through your own choices from here on. So please, do not deny this dissonance. Do not hold guilt about it. It is a sacred discordant sound that you feel precisely because you are evolving. Chapter 3. The true nature of the invisible wave flowing between you and your parents. The wave flowing between you and your parents cannot be seen with the eyes, yet it is certainly there. It is carved deeply into the depths of our cells, even deeper than the subconscious, into the realm of the soul. The true nature of this invisible wave is made of 3 layers. The first layer is the vibration of emotion, the emotions your parents felt in their daily lives: anxiety, anger, resignation, joy, hope. Even when these were never put into words, they kept traveling to the child as vibration. Many of the emotional patterns you feel repeating today are in fact a continuation of the vibration you inherited from your parents. The second layer is the vibration of belief. Money must be earned through hardship. You must not rely on others. You must not show your true self. These invisible beliefs are quietly carved into the child's subconscious through the words, the attitudes, and the atmosphere repeated within the home. If you sometimes feel that, even though your mind wants to live one way, something keeps pulling you in the opposite direction, it is because this second layer is at work. The third layer is the vibration that crosses generations. This is the deepest and the most delicate part. The wave your parents pass to you is, in fact, something your parents themselves inherited from their own parents, your grandparents, and those grandparents inherited it from the generation before them. In this way, a vibration handed down across generations sleeps quietly within you. This is like a quiet thaw of snow. Snow that has piled up over long years on a mountain peak begins, when spring arrives, to melt little by little from its deepest layers. The snow on the surface melts quickly, but the layer frozen deep into the ground begins to move much later. If you are beginning to feel dissonance with your parents now, this is exactly the moment when that deep layer has finally begun to move. This is not something to fear. Rather, it is a sign that your soul has taken on the role of ending. Here, the heavy vibration handed down across generations. You are the most precious being. You are the one who realigns the frequency of your entire family line. Chapter 4. The 5 quiet signs that appear in people whose relationship with their parents is beginning to change. When the wave between you and your parents quietly begins to realign, 5 mysterious changes begin to appear in your daily life. These are not dramatic changes, but they are sure proof that your frequency has entered a new stage. The first sign is a change in how often you think of your parents. Things you used to worry about, you suddenly stop remembering. Or the opposite happens, and warm memories from early childhood suddenly come back to you. This is a sign that the frequency within you has begun to re-edit the energy of the past. The second sign is that your anger or sadness toward your parents begins to change its shape. Intense emotion turns into a quiet sorrow. Sorrow turns into a deep understanding. Understanding turns into a quiet acceptance. This is proof that your soul is moving forward through a process of purifying emotion. The third sign is that you begin to notice your parents' influence in moments that have nothing to do with them. At work, within your relationships, in sudden moments, you find yourself realizing, this is a pattern I inherited from my mother. This is a habit of my father. These moments increase. This is a sign that the subconscious is rising into awareness, and proof that your awakening is moving forward. The fourth sign is that you become able to see your own childhood from the perspective of a third person, not as a victim, not as someone who caused harm, but simply as events that happened. This is proof that your soul has begun to stand at a high vantage point beyond space and time, a sign that a cosmic field of vision is opening. The fifth sign is that you no longer feel the need to force yourself to do anything for your parents. The sense of obligation, that you must reconcile, that you must forgive, that you must feel gratitude, quietly fades. In its place, a quiet acceptance is born. Simply, each of you is living in your own place. This is not coldness. This is the most mature form of love. Of these 5 signs, are there any that have already begun to happen to you? If even one of them has begun, then the realignment of your frequency has already quietly started. Chapter 5. The 4 misunderstandings about realigning the relationship with your parents that 99% of people do not know. When people try to realign their relationship with their parents, many of them unconsciously fall into great misunderstandings. These misunderstandings actually make the realignment of frequency take much longer. Here, I will speak honestly about 4 of these misunderstandings. The first misunderstanding is the belief that, in order to realign, you must always speak with your parents directly. This is a great misunderstanding. The realignment of the wave can be done regardless of physical distance. Even if you are apart, even if you never meet, when your frequency changes on the inside, the wave between you and your parents will certainly change. The second misunderstanding is the belief that, unless you forgive your parents, you will not be set free. This too is a misunderstanding. Forgiveness is something that arrives as a result. It is not a goal you aim for. The harder you try to forgive, the more resistance is born toward the part of you that cannot forgive yet, and the wave grows more disturbed instead. You do not have to forgive. Simply acknowledge what happened as something that happened. That alone is enough. The third misunderstanding is the belief that, unless you feel gratitude, your fortune will not rise. This is also wrong. True gratitude releases a true frequency only when it rises naturally from the depths of the heart. Gratitude felt as an obligation is nothing more than a false gratitude of low vibration, and it does not reach the universe. If you cannot feel gratitude right now, that is all right. When the time comes, it will rise on its own. The fourth misunderstanding is the belief that, unless you are a devoted child to your parents, you cannot become happy. This is the misunderstanding that binds the most people. Devotion to parents is not about form. It is about vibration. You, living your own life happily, is itself the deepest devotion. You, recovering your true frequency, becomes the greatest contribution to realigning your entire family line. Please quietly let go of these 4 misunderstandings, right here, right now. To realign is not to make an effort. To realign is simply for you to return to your own frequency. That is all it is. The universe is watching. And the moment you return to your true wave, the invisible vibration between you and your parents will naturally begin to realign as well. Chapter 6. The 3 rituals Tesla teaches for quietly realigning the wave with your parents. In his invention notebooks, Nikola Tesla touched on his relationship with his family several times. He himself was a man who held conflict for a long time, especially in his relationship with his father. And in his later years, through his research on the vibration of the universe, it is said that he arrived at 3 rituals for realigning the wave with one's family. These rituals do not ask anything of the other person. They are quiet, sacred processes that you carry out within yourself. The first ritual is to speak the name within your heart. At night, before you sleep, close your eyes and breathe slowly and deeply. Then, within your heart, quietly speak your father's name or your mother's name, just 3 times. You do not need to carry any emotion with it. Simply call the name. That is all. Why is this effective? It is because a name carries its own unique vibration. Simply by speaking it within your heart, the invisible line between you and that person quietly opens, not to have a conversation, but simply to acknowledge the connection at the level of frequency. That alone is enough for the hardened vibration within you to begin to move, little by little. The second ritual is to imagine your parents when they were young. In your heart, quietly picture your parents as children, a sight you never knew. Your parents, too, were once someone's children. They dreamed of something. They were wounded by something. They overcame something. They were one human being. This imagining is not for the sake of forgiving your parents. It is a process of separating your parents from you and seeing them as one soul. This alone makes the wave between you and your parents become surprisingly lighter, because within you, your parents return from being infinite beings to being one finite human being. The third ritual is to gaze at the flame of a candle for 3 minutes. At night, in a quiet place, light a small candle and simply gaze at its flame for just 3 minutes. Think of nothing. Simply watch the flickering of the flame, and in that time, let the emotions that rise within your heart flow freely. Do not deny them. Do not hold on to them. Simply let them flow. The flame of a candle is the oldest cosmic ritual, a symbol of the purification of vibration. In the 3 minutes you gaze at the flame, the heavy wave within you quietly burns upward and is released into the air. Try continuing this once a week, for 3 weeks. The invisible vibration within you will surely begin to realign. These 3 rituals, even added together, take less than 10 minutes. Yet their effect is deep and lasting, and it realigns the frequency of your entire life. This is because this is sacred work. It calls back your resonance with the universe itself. Chapter 7. The 7 miracles that happen in your life the moment your relationship with your parents is realigned. When the wave between you and your parents begins to realign, 7 mysterious changes quietly begin to arrive in your life. These are not flashy miracles, but they are the most essential changes. They change your entire life, deeply and surely, from the inside. The first miracle is that the quality of your relationships changes. The relationship patterns you have repeated until now naturally begin to disappear. This is because the template for the relationships you build with others is mostly born from the relationship with your parents. When the root changes, the branches and the leaves naturally change too. The second miracle is that the flow of money changes. Your unconscious beliefs about money are mostly inherited within the home. When the wave with your parents is realigned, the heavy vibration around money naturally becomes lighter, and circulation begins. The third miracle is that you become able to forgive yourself, the guilt you have carried for years in the depths of your heart, the guilt that somehow never disappeared, was in many cases a collective emotion inherited from your parents. When the wave is realigned, it quietly melts away. The fourth miracle is that the discomforts of the body ease. Chronic stiff shoulders, headaches, troubles of the digestive system. Some of these are the result of emotional energy held still within the body. When the heavy vibration of the heart is released, the body too quietly becomes lighter. The fifth miracle is that your relationship with your own children changes. This is a change especially for those who have become parents. When you finish realigning the wave you inherited from your parents, the vibration you pass on to your children naturally changes as well. The chain of generations ends with you. The sixth miracle is that the choices in your life become simple. The choices you kept hesitating over, the single step you could not decide to take, they mysteriously become clear to see. This is because the old vibration that clouded your choices no longer moves. The seventh miracle is that you become able to quietly affirm your very existence. This is the deepest and most precious change, the moment you can feel, from the bottom of your heart, that simply by being alive you have value. This is a quiet state of enlightenment that arrives only when the wave with your parents has been completely realigned. These miracles are not something you obtain through effort. When you quietly realign the wave with your parents, they arrive on their own. And please remember this. These changes do not take many years to arrive. The moment one single vibration is truly realigned within you, reality begins to rewrite itself, surprisingly fast. Closing. Thank you, truly, for listening all the way to this point today. You, who have listened so carefully this far, have surely carried, somewhere in your heart, a heaviness about your parents that you could never tell anyone for a very long time. To you, there is something I want to say from the bottom of my heart. You have truly, truly done so well. The seasons you spent carrying a dissonance no one understood, all alone. The nights you blamed yourself again and again. The hours you suffered because you could not bring yourself to fully dislike your parents. Through all of it, you have lived all the way to here. That may look like a small thing, but in truth, it is something very, very precious. And from now on, you no longer have to force yourself to reconcile. You no longer have to force yourself to forgive. You no longer have to force yourself to feel gratitude. You, simply being yourself, exactly as you are right now. That alone is enough. The universe is watching. It sees your precious resolve, the resolve to quietly realign the vibration of your family line within your own generation. From tomorrow, you no longer have to carry the old frequency. You may live your own life with your own frequency. Parents are parents. You are you, each of you, simply living in your own place with your own frequency. That is enough. And when you recover your own frequency, a mysterious thing happens. The wave between you and your parents becomes lighter before you even notice. This is the kindness of the law of the universe. When you are realigned, the world is realigned. When you become lighter, everyone connected to you becomes a little lighter too. Your future opens up gently, freely, and deeply, far more than you imagine. This is something certain. The universe is always on your side. Not once has it ever abandoned you. From here on, it will always watch over you gently, and it will keep delivering the light you need when you need it. Please, receive that light with peace in your heart. A final message. If today's words touched your heart even a little, I would be very happy if you would give this video a like. It becomes a small declaration to the universe, one that firmly fixes your own frequency in the direction of realignment. And on this channel, I will continue to deliver messages that gently realign your life from the perspective of the universe, the soul, and vibration. If you feel you would like to return again, please subscribe to the channel and let us deepen our learning together in the next video. Finally, if you would like to send a signal to the universe that you have truly received today's message, I would be happy if you would write one short line in the comments. Simply write, "I have received it." That one line will surely carve today's frequency onto the side of the light. I believe, from the bottom of my heart, that from tomorrow, you will become one of the most precious people, one who quietly realigns the vibration of their family line. May infinite light and deep resonance be with your soul. Then, let us meet again in the next video. Thank you, truly, for listening all the way to here.